The Conversation Podcast with a K celebrates Women's History Month. Sheryl Sandberg stated, "We need women at all levels, including the top, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored." Women have made many contributions in impacting every spectrum of society in the world. The Conversation Podcast honors and salutes you. Happy Women's Month. We may have made many strides throughout the years. They have made an impact on 7 mountains of influence, which is family, religion, business, education, arts, media, and politics. Have you considered sponsoring? You can Cash App us or set up recurring monthly donations. Our Cash App is $RareImage26. For recurring contributions, scan the QR code at the bottom. The Conversation Podcast highlights 2 businesses every month. If you want your business to be mentioned, email us at rareimage26@gmail.com with your information.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we go again. How you doing, Cheryl?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I am doing great, and I'm excited about this conversation that we are about to have. Look, we want to say thank you for joining in on the Conversation Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed tonight's conversation, in which I believe that you're going to be blessed by it. Cheryl, tell us, how was your day?
Oh, my goodness. It has been a full day. It is a... Hot Tuesday.
A hot Tuesday.
Hot Tuesday. As you know, I do have a daycare, so the kids are on 1,000. St. Patrick's Day just passed on Monday, right? So we had to do some of the treats today, so they were on one, but it was good.
Wow. So they was on a sugar high.
Sugar high.
They got chocolate wasted.
No, they got ice cream wasted.
Okay. That'll work. That'll work.
Think about that with some 2 to 3 year olds.
They was jumping off the walls.
Yeah, and slurping through the straws.
Ooh, you know, look, I am 25 years old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, God has blessed me with so much wisdom. Being 25,
Let me move, cause I don't need that lightning to strike.
I don't know why y'all hate on the fact that God has kept me. You know, He just kept me.
Yeah,
kept me throughout this year through
He
toil.
renewed your youth. I get you.
He did. He did.
But that was only by the Spirit, not in age.
No, that was a manifestation of the flesh.
Okay, then. If you say so, I'm just saying.
Hey, anyway, I'm happy to be 45. I joke about being so much younger, but I'm so happy about the age that God has blessed me with, and I know that you're happy about.
A big 4'6", baby.
Don't she look good, everybody?
Big 4'6", look 25.
Look beautiful.
I look 25 for real. No, I'm just teasing.
Look, you see, I didn't hate on her. See that? That's called love.
You know what, y'all? Don't pay no attention to that. He gets me behind the scenes.
Don't believe that. I always compliment her, like, for real. I always compliment. I think she's an amazing woman. One thing that God has blessed me with in my life, I have to admit that He blessed me with some amazing people. Now, to be honest, I did not appreciate that always, but throughout the years, God has really, what's the word I can use? Pull me in to show me, you know, what true love is about and what family's about and what true friendship's about. And I am so blessed.
So good.
So blessed to have
Definitely a blessing to have my brother. He's my younger brother, but my big brother. You know what I'm saying? Do you know little big brother?
And trust me, I treat her as if she's the younger sister.
Yes,
very protective over her. Like, the women in my life, I am protective. I become a different person when you mess with those I love.
Yeah.
I promise you. Just pray for me, saints, if you think, you know, some may not go right in situations, okay? But listen, we're about to dive into our conversation.
Get it, baby.
Once again, I am super excited about talking to her tonight. If anybody who know her personally know that she is an open book, literally an open book. We had her at our church one time to minister, and also at GLYC to teach, and her classes was phenomenal because the openness and the transparency that she gave to her class participants, and also when she came and ministered to our church. And we're still feasting on that word. We still talk about those things that the Lord deposits into your spirit to say to our ministry, also to teach at GLYC, and we're excited about it. So if you can, please give Cheryl a emoji round of applause as we go into this conversation.
All right, women, y'all help me out. Y'all help me out now. So every now and then say something in the comments. All right.
Most definitely, most definitely. So Cheryl, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, as I stated earlier, I am 46. I have 5 children by birth. I have raised 7. I adopted 2 at a tender young age. So in all, I have 7 children. I have been married, divorced now. And I have a childcare business. It's in-home daycare at this moment. I have worked with the special needs community for most of my adult life, and that is one of the biggest blessings of my life. If that did not teach me humility, love, if it did not change me as a person, no other job ever will. I am a natural born leader. Do know how to follow, thank you, Lord. But I am a natural born leader. So that's pretty much a sum of who I am. I'm a lover of people. I love youth and young adults. That is a passion of mine, to be able to help them and cultivate them as they are growing and changing and learning how to become. And so that is a big passion of mine. I absolutely love working in that realm.
And you know what? You do well with it. I have to admit, she does well with it. And a lot of things that she do has been definitely inspiration for me as a leader with the young people. And we have had many conversations about leadership, how to guide the youth and things like that. And she's definitely a person of wisdom that I lean on quite a lot. And she has also been very intricate in me raising my baby girl, my daughter, that I love so much. She gave me so much wisdom on how to handle her as a female. But we about to dive.
This one. Woo.
Clueless.
No, he's done well by his girls and his son. So don't let him fool you. I may have to step in and give some wisdom on some parts, but as a man, he did a phenomenal job raising his girls and his son, and I couldn't be more proud of being a sister to such a man of character that he is. I love Darnell. I call him Darnell. So if you hear me say that throughout the broadcast, that's what it is, because I call him Darnell.
Now everybody gonna be calling me Darnold after this.
No, y'all call him Darnell now. But yeah, just honestly, don't let him fool you of the type of man that he is. And I know this is Women Month, and I am so glad to be a part of the show tonight. Woo-hoo. And I hope that you all can glean from what is being said today.
So you ready for this conversation?
I don't know, but let's go.
Oh man. Let's dive deep into this. Okay. So believe it or not, I met her the same time that I got an opportunity to meet my younger sister and my younger brother. Yeah. Do you remember that day?
I do. I remember you. I remember coming out of my granny's house, and you were coming out of the car. You were standing. You were just as nervous as you wanted to be.
I was.
Very nervous. But what I will say is we honestly all clicked.
Definitely.
Quickly. It was not like we met strangers. You know, it was like, whoa, this family. This is it.
That's
right
it.
here.
That's it.
This is it. So yeah.
And fell in love instantly.
Absolutely.
For real. Like grandma and grandpa, along with you all,
yeah,
adopted me into the family, and
absolutely,
y'all have not treated me any different. Like, yeah, I'm her grandson. She get upset. I need to call her. She get bothered by if I don't reach out to her, and she made mention.
Somebody gonna tell you about this broadcast, and he said he needed to call you.
Yeah. So she's my grandma. Papa was my granddaddy, and we had became family.
Yes, absolutely.
And we had some rocky moments, haven't we?
Ooh, we've had some rocky moments, but I can promise you that our good outweighed the bad. The thing about our rocky moments, though, Darnell, think about it. We can be hot. I'm talking about fire, steam coming from the top of our heads, y'all. But before we left each other's presence, we made sure to get it straight. Even if we did not totally agree at the end, we made sure that we were well before we left.
Or if we didn't get it well, what word we always say to one another? I love you, and I'll talk with you
And
later.
I'll talk to you later. Now, that is my thing. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I love you, and I'll talk to you later.
I'm good for that.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. But that's that we always in our conversations like that, regardless of how angry that we are. And so throughout this year, I had an opportunity to really learn you. And the one reason why I wanted to bring you on this podcast in the month that is considered a Women's Month. I hope I said that right, because my English speed don't connect well
We get
sometimes.
talked about all the time. It's okay. We just gonna keep
Yeah.
going.
So I felt like your story would resonate with our female listeners. And one thing about it, you often talk about your story, and I don't know how in depth, because sometimes, like when you go on Facebook Live, when you feel inspired to share some things, I don't always get a chance to hear it, person. But I know some of those inside stories because I've been there.
Right.
I had an opportunity to watch it and also to live it with you.
Yes.
So I seen the rocky moments. I seen the ups. I seen the downs.
Yeah.
I seen you smile. I seen you upset. Y'all hear how I took my time with that?
Angry, y'all.
Yeah. She put the A into it. I didn't.
I was angered. One of my participants used to say, "Don't anger her. Leave her alone." That's how I feel.
So
Leave her alone.
I must admit I've seen the evolution.
Oh, wow.
Definitely have seen the evolution.
Oh, wow.
And so let's dive into this. I remember you shared some things with me about how you came to live with grandma and granddaddy, and how that changed your life. So let's start there, so people can have a backdrop of who Cheryl is and how she has became the woman that she is today.
Okay. Well, I actually lived with my mom until I was 7 years old. I was going into 7. It was not too much longer, I think, before I would be 7 years old. I was raped and molested and beaten by my mom's boyfriend at the time. She did not know about any of it. She was also getting raped and beat by the same man. My mom was constantly afraid. But when she did find out, when she found out about the incidents that were taking place, it all came with me having a simple conversation with people that I would consider family, and they were saying some things, and I was like, you know what, I do that every day. And they looked at me like, every day? What do you mean? You're not supposed to be doing that? Can you think about, a kid between the ages of 3 to 7 years old knowing how to perform oral sex? Or knowing how to gratify a man at that age? That should not be happening, but it did. And so being in that space, I really came to a place where I thought that was the right thing to do. And of course he threatened me, so I never said anything to my mom, but I will say I tried to give her clues. There were times that I would wear the same clothes every day, or I would cry really, really hard when she would get ready to leave, because I didn't want her to leave me there, But at some point when we had that conversation, they called my mom. She was at work. She came and got me. We went to the police station. They picked him up, of course, right away. And I ended up in foster home. So I spent about a year in foster home. And then my grandmother came and got me. I first had to do some visits with her before they came and got me, but they did. And I didn't know my grandparents. They knew me from a child, but I didn't know them. So I had to get to know them, and they would come and pick me up on the weekends, her and my grandpa, and we called them Paw Paw. They're my Paw Paw. So they would come and get me and take me to Crystal's. That's what I knew Crystal was. Crystal was my favorite restaurant back in the day.
Oh, it was fire. Chili cheese fries.
No, not back in the day. Baby, we was good to get a Crystal.
Oh,
God.
my bad.
Crystals was luxury. You understand me? So, no, she would come and get us, and then I finally moved with her. And I was with her until I got married at 18 years old.
Wow. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So you talked about the molestation, right? Yeah. So how did it affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so if I could be real honest with you.
Please do.
As a kid, you really don't. Let me speak for me, because everybody's situation and circumstance is different, and they are affected differently. For me, I had no fault. I really had no thought of oh my God, this is bad, because it was normal. It was normal. Again, from the ages of 3 to 7, that was my normal life. So I didn't think anything about it. Now, what I can tell you, when I move now I'm gonna get deep, and you let me know if I need to stop, okay?
Oh, no, talk.
So when I moved with my grandmother, and I'm finna share a part that I've never shared with anyone. When I moved with my grandmother, she took all the dolls away, all of that, because I was trying to make things happen that had happened to me. I was trying to get the feeling that I had always had it, had always had. And so I wasn't allowed to play with dolls. I wasn't allowed to play with anything. Ooh. So those are spaces when you talk about mentally, those were the things that messed with me. I was trying to always get what I always had. And I couldn't. And so I would use dolls.
For gratification.
For gratification.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never released that. Never.
This is my first time hearing this, and we have talked openly about a lot of things. Like, but it's amazing how when people who are not mature enough to handle sexual activities,
yes,
and that gratification comes, it's kind of like a drug.
It is.
It gives you like that high.
It's like a high.
Yeah.
And you can't talk about it. I would go hide. It's like, you know how your conscience mess with you? It's like something may be wrong, but it's just something that you have to do. It becomes something that is in you. And so for me, I had to be broken from those things. So I would say that's what happened mentally. Emotionally, I would probably say the only thing I was angry about was I was not with my mom, and she never came back to get me. She never came back. And so I remember going to the welfare office a couple of times to go visit with her, but she didn't want to do the classes and all of that type of stuff to get me. And this is something I don't know if anyone that will be listening tonight have ever experienced this part, but they took me from my mom coming from school. I was getting out of school. Me and my mom was walking hand in hand. Now, I'm going to tell you, me and my mom was really, really close. And so some would say, well, then she should have known something was wrong with her child. Well, if you're getting beat, you're getting raped, and you're still trying to provide for your child to make sure and do the best that you can to make sure she's safe, she just wasn't mentally there. She just really thought everything was okay. But this particular day, we were coming out of school, and we was laughing and talking and walking hand in hand, and this lady, I'll never forget, she had a hunchback brown or tan car. I would call it tan. It was like a khaki colored vehicle, and it was a hunchback. And this little short brown skinned lady, her hands were like that. I'll never forget.
This will be a serious conversation. Y'all, please excuse us, because this is how we are when we talking. Okay, it could be an in-depth conversation, tears coming out our eyes, and we still find a way to laugh about it. That is us. That is us.
But yeah, so the lady,
do the hand again.
She came out. And come here. No, I'm just playing. She came and told my mom that she was from social services and that she would have to take me. And that was the most horrific space that probably could have ever happened to me. And she literally dragged me. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was a Tyler Perry movie. And the scene in the movie, they were at the hotel.
Is it Mr. Good Deeds?
I think so.
I believe that's what it is. I think
so. And they came and took that young girl from her mom at the hotel. And the way they were dragging her away was what happened to me. And in that movie, I resonated so well with that movie when it comes to that particular part. But emotionally, so that was damaging to me. I felt like the system let me down. I didn't know it was a system per se, but I felt like the lady who told me that I would go back to my mom lied to me.
So that set you up to expect something that you never got.
Absolutely. It set me up from the beginning to never trust. Because anyone that said something to me would lie. The man who raped me was a liar. I'm going to kill you and your mom if you ever tell me. A lie. it was a bluff. It was manipulation. But I didn't know as a kid. You know, all I know is I wanted to protect my mom. I remember times in situations that I was with my mom and he was beating on her and stuff, and I would go up and bite him and punch him. I'm a little kid, and he would sling me across the room like I was a rag doll. I mean, this was things that happened every single day. You know, and the crazy thing is, Donnell, I don't think I've ever told my entire story. People always get bits and pieces of the story, but there were some horrific things that happened that even as a kid, when I moved to my grandmother's, I became safe in a sense. So as time progressed, I didn't think about it anymore. I just began to live.
So you just learn how to cope and move on.
Yes, I learned to cope and to move on, which still shaped me as I was growing. So I learned how to be on autopilot all the time. All I knew to do was to do what I needed to do to survive. It didn't matter what the situation was. It didn't matter if it was the divorce. It didn't matter if it was the cheating. It didn't matter. Whatever it was, I learned to be autopilot.
So you talked about earlier that you've been married, right?
Yeah.
So what age it was when you first met your first husband?
I was 14.
14?
Yep, I was 14. We were in school together, and we started dating then. Yeah.
And you told me that he was your best friend.
He was absolutely my best friend. He was one that I talked to about everything. He was the one that taught me how to drive. He was the first one to show me that there was a mall in Jackson. I didn't even know there was a mall in Jackson. We didn't really go places and do things. We were at home. We went to school at home. And I was in band, thank God for that. So I got a chance to see a little bit with band. But, you know, I was raised by my grandparents. She had already raised her kids. So there was no... They were homebodies. They were people who, you know, they just wanted to make sure you were safe. I think my grandmother was afraid to let me venture out because of the things that had already happened in my life. But he was my everything. And so I married him at 18. 18.
18 years old.
18. I was not a woman. I was a girl. And we had our first child. We lost our first child. He was a boy. His name is Tony. Lost him at 6 months. And then shortly after that is when I got my sister Miracle, which is my daughter. And that was from my mom.
So let's talk about the Miracle situation.
Okay.
So how did that transpire?
Oh, Lord, y'all. Mind you, I hadn't seen my mom in about 10 years. Okay. My brother called. I have an older brother. I actually have 3 other siblings. And so my older brother called me and said, hey, you need to come and get your mama. I said, what you mean? Go get my mama? I don't even know the lady. What do you mean? He said, she over there on such and such street. You need to go get her. She over there acting crazy. I go pull up over there. Me and my ex-husband, we go pull up over there. I mean, glass is covered in the street. I mean, the glass all from the beginning of the street to the end, because it's a little street, little community.
So she was showing out?
Oh, my goodness. Showing out was not a word, baby. She done ran everybody from over there in the community. The little 7 houses was over there. There nobody was left over there. My mama had cleared it out. You understand?
Y'all got to know Aunt Susie. That's why she's laughing, why she's telling the story. Y'all have to know Aunt Susie. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, you do. But my mom, she's deceased now. But she was the life of every party.
She was.
And if I could honestly say, the strongest woman I've ever known.
Definitely so.
That I've ever known. Out of her drug addiction, out of her alcoholism, out of all of the things that we could consider to be bad, she was the strongest woman I ever knew. And yeah. I didn't realize that until I got grown now. And I really think it was at her funeral that I realized that my mama was a warrior.
She was.
And really, that's where I got it from.
And she was one of the sweetest women that I know.
Ooh, she would cook you a meal. Now, I ain't eating none of them pig feet and all that kind of stuff. But for those who did, she did all that. But, you know, to get back to the story, I went and got my mom. I said, what are you doing? First of all, she had her back turned to me. I said, hey, Susie. She turned around and all I seen was a belly, y'all. I said, you pregnant? Yeah, you have to. Yeah, good, honey, I'm pregnant. So I go get my mom, and I take her back to me and my ex-husband's home, and I get her together, get her cleaned up. I love on her. I talk to her. We have a conversation. We talk about, if it's a boy, what she was going to name it. If it's a girl, I told her, I'm going to name her, and she's going to be mine. Watch what y'all say. So she ended up being my baby. Miracle is my baby. I was the first to hold her. I named her. Miracle was not supposed to be able to talk, walk. She was not supposed to have any function. She was in the NIC unit for a very long time. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the most beautiful things that took place. Miracle wouldn't eat for anybody but my mom. So if my mom didn't feed her, she wouldn't eat. So she had a tube and all of that. So this all took place when they were trying to see if she would eat off of the tube. And that was a beautiful moment. When I took Miracle home, I did allow my mom to come home with me, even though we weren't supposed to do that. She was supposed to be away because when Miracle was born, her system was full of drugs and alcohol. And so I couldn't imagine her not being with her child because I was not with her. So I didn't want that to happen. But in order for Miracle not to go to foster home, one of the family members needed to take her. And I was the only one with no kids, so at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because I was in college. I was in cosmetology school. I had graduated that May. Miracle was born in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So she became your first child.
She did.
Beautiful. I remember the first time I met Miracle. Miracle was always that child that she didn't meet any strangers. She just run up to you and hug you, and she will hug you tight. Now, at the time, she probably was at my knee, and so she would come and just squeeze my leg.
Yeah.
And so immediately, uncle. And like to see her where she is now is quite amazing.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
No, we had a journey, and when I tell you, if I look back on it now, and it's a beautiful journey.
It really is.
It's a beautiful.
We'll
journey.
take nothing from it, at all. So, marriage.
Okay.
Let's. Oh man, I'm gonna ask some tough questions. You got married when you was 18,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. What was you thinking that made you say, "Hey, I want to marry this guy"? At that moment, what was you thinking?
Okay. I'm gonna speak truthfully on this space here. When Pat and I were together, when we first moved, we were not married when we first moved. My reason for moving was to get away. Okay. I was tired of some spaces. So I wanted to get away. So we moved out. And I had a dream one day. And this is no lie. I heard the Lord say, if you're not married, leave. Now, I wasn't even I was going to a Methodist church. I'm telling you right now, I ain't know nothing about no Holy Spirit, and I definitely didn't know about Jesus coming to talk to you. But I dreamed it. It was very strong. So I got up and I told him, you either marry me or I'm going back home. We got married. And I should not have. He was a cheater from the beginning. And I felt like, if we get married and we're together, that won't happen. Women, let me tell you, nothing you do will change a man. A man has to want to change. He wants to have to want to become a better himself. And being a young lady, I thought if I married him, I did the cooking and the cleaning, and I sexed him real good, he would change and only want me. That did not happen. The whole 11 years of our marriage.
Wow. So, dealing with that level of abuse,
Yes.
do you feel like your childhood experience kind of warped your perspective of how to hold on to a man?
I'm sure. I'm sure I didn't have an identification of what a man was supposed to be. My grandfather wasn't faithful. He did things, and the example that I would have had from a man would have been my mom's boyfriend until it was 7. And if that's what a man is supposed to treat you like, I definitely didn't have an example. And so when I moved with my grandfather, he was a truck driver. He worked in a factory. He was doing his thing. He wasn't home like that. So I didn't have that example. And then when I did get married, I don't. You can't hold on to something that don't want to be held.
That's true.
And I think my ex-husband knew that I was a good girl, but I wasn't enough. And that was because that was something that was on the inside of him that didn't have anything to do with me. If that makes sense.
That makes
so
sense.
I don't think that I could have held on to him. I think it had to be something that he desired, because I wasn't a cheater. So it was something that I desired. Even though I had went through all of that in my life, I was a faithful individual.
Wow. So y'all got together.
Yes.
Y'all had children.
Yes. That don't make a man stay. Okay, go ahead.
It's kind of funny. I used to joke around. I said that you and Pat was like Oprah Winfrey in The Color Purple.
You told Apple
And the reason I'm saying, because it seemed like every time there was a breakup, and y'all got back together, you having a child. Then you break up, you have back together, and there was another child.
Absolutely.
And it just went down to like up to 5 kids.
Yeah, up to 4.
4.
We had 4. We had 5 total.
That's right. Tony.
Tony passed.
Tony. Okay.
So 4 living, but
4.
Listen. And that's exactly how it happened. It wasn't it's what it looked like. It's how it happened. And he felt like getting me pregnant would keep me. And it was definitely lowering my self-esteem because I was a young woman. He always told me nobody else would want me with all these kids. And so in my mind, that's what I always thought. Nobody will ever want me because I got all these kids.
Do you remember one conversation that we had? This was a long time ago. I remember it was after that you had Peyton. Peyton was born, and you and I got to talking. I was like, look, I'm like, this is a bit much. And I don't know if you were listening to me because I was going through my own trials and tribulations at the time. And I'm like, yo, can you just not do this again?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then I don't know how far Peyton and...
So she's 19 and Peyton is 21. So they're like right at like 19, 20 months apart.
Okay, so
yeah.
I remember when you got pregnant with her.
Yeah.
And look, I was not supposed to know about it. That's supposed to be a kept secret.
Well, it wasn't actually planned either.
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't planned. He told me that I was going to have his girl, and he did just that. And we weren't even together once I got pregnant with her. He left and moved with his girlfriend. So I went through that pregnancy, me and JoJo. Y'all would know her as Jonisha Green. That is my sister. We was raised together. And even though we're first cousins, nobody will ever tell me that we're not sisters. But she is the one that was there for me within that pregnancy. And so even within that pregnancy, a lot happened. So with him living with this girlfriend, the man left us in a real bad situation. He left us with a house in foreclosure. He left us with the bounty hunters coming to get our vehicles. And I was on maternity leave. So I ended up having to get a job when she was a week old, and I was working at a factory and at McDonald's. Can you imagine that being, that having a baby right after that? And I was going through postpartum depression. Patients screamed and hollered all night, all day long. And the only person she was okay with was with Jonisha. And so I found him one day. I was given a tip. Y'all, this is a disclaimer. Do not do these type of things. So I found out where he was. I was supposed to be going on my way to Pinnacles. At the time, it was called Pinnacles. Right now, it's called Conagra. But when I was working there, it was called Pinnacles. The old Quaker Oaks, okay? My spiritual mom, Jackie Hendrick, was like, Cheryl, don't go over there. I'm not, Mom. I'm not going. I'm on my way to work. I got to be there at 7 o'clock. Cheryl. Mind you, she knew me. She's my spiritual mom now, so she knew me. You gonna go to jail if you go over there. Guess what Cheryl do? She pulls up over there anyway with her 2 babies in the car. I have Peyton, who is probably, God, a 1.5 going on 2. Patience was 2 weeks old. And I pull up at this woman's house. I knock on the door. And I say, hey, is Pat here? Oh, yeah, come on in. She got 3 kids walking out the door, and I'm looking. Oh, you got 3 kids. So I go on in there and go to where he is, and baby, we get to scrapping. And guess who go to jail because they lied? Me. It's on the weekend. It's on a good old Friday. So I'm in there from Friday to Monday. Y'all scared to death. So do not go try to find a man. If the man is at a woman's house, leave him there. Because jail was not for me.
So, we want to talk about this because we talk about this honestly. No, this is going to be good, for real. Because I often say to you that now you're a more soft person than you were before.
Okay.
So, you talked about your marriage, you talked about the molestation, but I remember the hard, mean, let me get you together, Cheryl. It don't matter what the getting together was about. It was, let me tell you a piece of my mind just because I can. So, what happened? When was the waking up moment that you, because one thing I used to tell you a long time ago, I was like, man, you're very beautiful. I said, won't you try this?
I wasn't saying nothing darn there was talking about.
I think you look nice with a dress instead of these sweatpants.
Can y'all believe that?
Hey, you thought about this type of jewelry. I think this would look good on you. And you would do none of that, and you would chew my head out, and you would say some stuff. I would laugh. That would make her even more upset. Because I'm not easily offended. Like, it takes a lot for me to get upset.
Yeah.
But I always tell you, like, hey, you're a beautiful woman. Like, so when was the waking up moment for you? Because there's a lot that took place. And there's some things I didn't find out until years later, until after Patience were born.
Yeah.
That's when, like, me and you both start having these open up conversations about life, our experiences, what caused us to become the people that we were at that moment.
Yeah.
So when was the waking up moment? When did you discover that you was the sexy woman that you are?
Sexy Lord.
Sexy.
So I'm gonna be honest. My change in that space. First of all, let me say, when you are a protector of yourself, you are hard. You will do anything to protect you. My heart is and always have been very soft and gentle, but my exterior was the hard place. I was like a turtle shell, baby. I was a turtle shell. The inside was soft and gooey, but my outer was hard because I needed to protect myself because no one did. But my change came when I met my youngest son, King Asher's dad. He changed my whole entire life. He was gentle with me. He was kind. I don't want to say the word served, but that's really what it was. He served me, and he taught me how to serve him as a woman. And because he loved me through my hard parts, it made me want to be better. He was sort of like a fashionist. He loved to dress up, and he dressed weird now. I couldn't tell you that I liked everything he wore. But he believed in dressing up, looking nice, keeping himself neat, and all of those type of things. I really was a tomboy. I did do the sweats, the jeans, the big T-shirts, hats, the caps and stuff. That's who I was. But to be with him, it made me want to be different. It made me want to put on makeup and lipstick. And I still don't wear earrings too often, but every now and then I would put earrings on. And so he helped develop a softer woman. You know, he helped develop the woman that I've always been. You know, life in itself changed some of the heart spaces, but he came in and changed that space. And the best gift that he and I have is our King Asher. And I thank God for that. Now, it ended rough, and we probably could have killed one another. Amen. But he is the one that brought the softness.
I saw the evolving, like at that moment, and I remember the first time I saw you with makeup on.
Yeah.
I was completely shocked, and your sister snitched. That's how I ended up at your house, because she was like,
Snitch.
she was like, if you want to see her with makeup on, you better run over here quick, cause you probably won't see it again like this.
Joe.
So I was my job wasn't too far from where you were living at the time.
Yeah.
And so I went over there, and I sat there, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, are you okay? Are you feeling good?
Right. Yeah.
But I seen the evolution and how that you begin to look at yourself differently.
Yeah.
You know, becoming this hard woman, this seriously direct individual. I knew you were soft on the inside, because I always say the meanest woman is the most gushiest woman that exists. I've seen it. I know a church mother will get you together in 2.1 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, she will cry, and she will give you her last and tell you, don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Don't you tell nobody. I can't see this happening. She was the sweetest person that you ever could meet. So I knew that from experience. Like, okay, she's trying to play hard. That's the reason why I used to laugh at her when she's going off and like, this ain't funny. Yeah, she's let me have it all the time, I remember that first argument we had.
What?
Because PJ and Paris.
He was mean to my child.
I was not mean to them. I had to learn how to accept love, number one. But Jonisha lived in a house. You had to climb up some stairs. Right. Apartments were, and they were steep. And so Jonisha did not like, because I don't know if she understood or not, but them jokers will meet me as soon as they heard the door open. Yeah. They will yell my name out, and they will meet me at the stairs. And as soon as I got at the top of the stairs, they would literally jump me. Yep. Literally. Yep. I feel like I was getting beat up. Can you imagine getting beat up by 7, 8, 9-year-olds? And like they loved
him. That's what that was. That was the way that they showed.
I loved him too.
Love. And he did love them. And we argued about it because I thought he was being mean to my kids, and know that I am a mama bear.
Yeah.
I'm a mama bear still to this day.
Yep, still, man, get you together quick over again. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And my kid's grown, y'all.
once she went off on me, and it was funny because she waited till after her. I got out the shower. I feel like I was getting whooping by my mama. We need to have a conversation. Then I'm like, okay, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And so anyway, we talked about, once I explained myself, she went from here to die.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, we're good. And that night, I had made a pal on the floor, and the boys did what they normally did. And that's the way it was. Yeah. I love them guys up to this point. They like, and I would never like, their experience built our relationship.
Yeah, it did.
It did. We was in that hot apartment.
Yeah, but we were all together, and we were family, y'all.
We were
family. Joe took us in. I can't remember. Was that the time where
we both were homeless?
I was literally homeless. She took us in her one bedroom apartment, and we were all there, and we made it work.
We did.
We made it work, y'all. Nobody complained,
and we did not starve.
And we ate. You understand?
We ate. Now we had to create some meals,
but we ate. And and that's part of growing. I hear people sometimes, but I can't live with nobody. I ain't gonna never live with nobody. You don't know what situation you're going to have to be in.
Right.
And I could say you had 3 grown people, and I had 1, 2, 4, 5 kids.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have Keelan at the time, and we made it.
Yeah.
We made it, y'all, and it
with patients crying the whole day.
Oh Lord Jesus!
I would hear patients crying before I walk up the stairs. Like,
I'm telling you, that girl. She cried a lot
Yeah,
in her younger years. But seriously though, we made it.
we did. We did.
Yeah.
I love it. I love where you are. And this is kind of go to the theme of our podcast, an exceptional woman and what makes a woman exceptional. So, did you ever beat yourself up? Because one thing I know you struggle with is perfectionism.
I do.
And you feel like that you're never good enough.
Right.
So how did you overcome that, or how are you overcoming that? Speak to the women so they know, because they're probably a woman that's listening to us right now that is in that same space that feels though like I gotta be perfect in order to be the best woman that I am.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. I still struggle with that today, but I am making strides to know that as long as I am giving my all and my best, that is all that I can do. And that's what I would say if I was saying anything to any woman. If you are giving your best and giving your all, and you're reaching out when you need to reach out to the right people, don't be afraid to get counseling. Don't be afraid to reach out if you have spiritual leaders. Don't be afraid to reach out to good friends who are not judgy, but they're literally there to be there for you, to help you walk through your process. And the reason why I say that part right there, Darnell has walked me through some processes. And when I tell you, he was there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if I didn't have him, I don't know if I would have made it through that process as healthily as I did. So I want you to know that you need people. You cannot do this alone. What makes you exceptional is when you realize there's a problem. And whatever the problem is, from you, not you pointing your finger at everybody else at why, because I got a lot of reasons of why I could be like I am or like I was. But when you realize and take accountability for yourself, and you begin to reach out and get the necessary help that you need, that's what makes you exceptional. You will never be perfect. And so don't try to be perfect. And that was my issue. I wanted to do everything right. I wanted to be the best mother. I wanted to be the best worker. I wanted to be the best church leader. I wanted to be the best at everything I did. And I can't be the best. All I can be is be in the capacity in which I am given. My capacity can be enlarged as I grow and I learn. But all you have to do is give your best. Don't settle. Do not settle for things that are mediocre. If you know it's mediocre, get away from it. That's what makes you exceptional. Exceptional don't mean you got it all together. It doesn't mean you have all the money. It doesn't mean you have the best house, the best car, the best job. That doesn't make you exceptional. It just makes you rich or wealthy. That's all. Exceptional is when you are your best.
That's a good one. That is definitely a good one. And I think that not only can encourage women, that also can encourage men who may have the same struggle with trying to make sure they do everything right.
Yeah.
And judging themselves so harshly because they're not perfect.
Yeah.
So, last question before we conclude this. How did you arrive at that point?
Oh, trials. Trials. Consistently going through things and trying to figure out why these things keep coming. And once I learned that there are some things that I'll never be able to change, and there are some things that I can change, and the things that I can change, I began to make change too. And when I made those changes, I began to see some things happen for me. I began to see me become lighter and some of the weight to come up off my shoulders. Like, to be honest, I'm still dealing with some things and situations now. And it's like you are going to learn that you can only change what you can change. And the person that you need to work on is you. And those things that you cannot change, that ain't got nothing to do with you. That's when God steps in and do the rest. There are some things that are for him. And there are some things that he is like, hey, I've given you the right to be able to change this thing. I've given you the charge over this. So God is not going to fix everything. He's not going to change everything. He's going to allow some things to be thorns in your side. I know we don't want to go to church, but it's the truth. There are some things that are going to continue to be there. They are going to continue to come because it's you that need to make the change. It's you.
I like that.
So that's how I arrived. The continual trials and tribulations of life and learning to fix the things I needed to fix. And those that I couldn't, I left it in God's hand.
Great. This has definitely been a great conversation. I wish that we can go longer. I would love to have a part 2, but I know our schedules won't allow that. She is definitely a busy woman, and I'm a busy person.
I won't always be that way, y'all.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you all. I'm asking you all, like, hey, hit her up in her inbox, send her some encouraging words, if you will. How can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook. My name is Cheryl Carter. That's CHERYLYAKA. I'm also on Instagram. Everything is my name. I'm also on Snapchat. I don't do all them fancy dancy names because I can't remember them, okay? So everything is my name. And you can find me. You can find me there. You can reach out to me. I promise. We could pray together. We could walk together. And like you said, if you have encouraging words, send them. I will take them. Prayers, send them. I'll take them.
Listen, this has definitely, once again, been a great conversation. I always enjoy talking to you.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, we have 3 or 4 hour conversations when we talk, and it doesn't get boring. Only reason why we have to end it is because we got to work.
We got to work, or somebody calling, something to do.
Yeah.
But I want y'all to know, as a woman, you are phenomenal. That is not just a cliche word. You are a backbone. You are strong. You are mighty. Your mind is brilliant. And I want you to remember that your hands are workable hands. You are able to do things that the normal, average person cannot do. I am telling you, don't think less of yourself. And I've done that for years. I have thought less of myself. And I'm saying to you, do not think less of yourself. If it's your little that you have, make it be much. We've been homeless so many times. We haven't had food so many times. There were things that we was taking outfits that we've had for years and rearranging them to make it look like things were new. I'm telling you, it has not always been gravy. And where I am today is because I worked my tail off. And so I am telling you, don't think small of yourself. Think big of yourself. You are great, and you are a phenomenal woman.
You know what? We're going to conclude on that word right there. Come on, once again, give her a round of applause through emojis. I want to say thank you, Cheryl, once again, coming on the Conversation Podcast. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, she's one of our partners.
Hey, I'm silent though,
y'all.
Yeah,
she's a silent partner. And an amazing woman, like I said before. But we want to say we appreciate you being part of this conversation. It's been a great conversation, and we're going to do this again.
I look forward to it.
We're going to call it Update.
Come on, Update.
By that time, she'll be married.
Hope so.
Because she's not going to jump on here anytime soon. I have to fight with her.
You don't know
over
me
it.
like that.
I have to fight with her over this. Do y'all realize that? I have to call and I don't ask her. I just tell her, you're going to be on here, because if I ask her, she's going to say no automatically.
Absolutely.
But, she's full of wisdom, and I love her, like, from the bottom of my heart. All right, y'all, we love you, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.